Right, we're here this evening with a face that will be familiar to very many of you. Most of you will know him as the face of Shakespeare County Raceway. Prior to that, Avon Park.
Avon
Prior
Park,
to that, Longmarston.
Longmarston Raceway, yeah.
So this, Jerry Cookson.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
Yeah, doing well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, retired now?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite, no. As you've just seen, the small archive that I've got
Yes.
tucked away,
The
so that
archiving
keeps me
project.
busy. That keeps me busy.
Yes, which is probably the leading archive of drag racing and sprinting memorabilia in the UK, you reckon?
There's one other bloke that will probably outrank me,
Right.
and that's Clive Rooms, who helps me with
yes.
the UK Dragon Sprint strip page on Facebook.
Right.
He's got a vast collection of programs.
Vaster than that.
Yeah, some of his date back to the 1900s
Good God.
when
Oh,
sprinting was
sprinting. Yeah.
yeah.
Was it lumped in with hill climbing back then, or was it a discipline of its own?
It sort of had. There was various combined meetings
Right.
where they'd do a
right.
twisty sprint in the morning, and then they'd just do a quarter mile or eighth mile.
Right. Okay.
At some venues, I didn't know until I seen his list once, and that there was a sprint held in Sutton Park. And
Yes.
obviously, Sutton Coldfield is my hometown.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
When was this?
This was in the 1908, I think it was.
Oh, so slightly before your
Oh
time.
yeah, oh absolutely, yeah. I don't remember it, but
But you were basically born into motorsport, weren't you?
Yes,
Your old man was into it.
Yeah, all done down to Dad really. He started motorsport with auto tests
Right.
in a grassy field somewhere.
Yeah.
But before that, he was a cyclist as well. He was a keen amateur
Competitive.
cyclist
Right.
with one of the clubs in the middle of Birmingham, in the Aston area, because that's where he was born. But no, he did a lot of auto tests up at Shenston, over at Lichfield. I always remember one event where it was through a boggy field, and he didn't see this tree stump, and he wiped the sump out on the Family Herald.
Ooh.
I can't remember.
Oh, this was a road car.
Oh yeah, it was a road car. Yeah, I can't remember how we got it back, but anyway, that was. And then we used to go to a lot of circuit meetings at Mallory Park, so we watched the likes of Jim Clark and Graham Hill and those big names in their Lotus Cortinas. Tear arsing round the circuit. And my uncle was a keen model maker.
Right, yeah.
And he used to get Hot Rod magazine on a regular basis.
Yeah.
From a little shop in Selly Oak, Birmingham. A few doors down was this model shop that he used to have his model kits on display.
Yeah.
And yes, ignore the cat. She always wants to be a star. So here we go. Yes, this is Luna, folks. This is the family cat. So he got my dad involved in drag racing.
Right.
He said, "Let's go and see this drag fest at Blackbush." So we went along, and he thought, "This is a funny looking sport. This is not for me. No, don't want to do this." Next thing we know,
this would have been
65.
Right.
65 for the second one, when it was the Blackbush and Woodvale, and it was the year it continued to rain at every event that they put on. And 6 weeks later, he was building a wooden chassis.
Right.
Just as a mock-up.
Yeah.
He was building a wooden chassis before he got the metal to do it properly.
Wow.
So they built their first dragster for the year that Santa Pod opened in 1966.
Oh, it was finished within a year?
Oh, yeah.
Blimey, Riley.
Yeah, because he didn't go to the first one. That was the Easter washout weekend. I think we went to the second or the third one. Can't remember which, because I was about 6 years old at the time.
We'll let you off.
And it was called Minor Leaguer, hence because the engine was out of a Morris Minor.
Right, okay.
Yeah. There's no trickery involved on it at all. It was running like 19 seconds, quarters.
And
But
it was a dragster.
yeah, it was a proper slingshot dragster.
Yeah,
Short wheelbase.
but just with a 1098
Yeah,
cc Moggy Minor
yeah,
motor.
that's it. And then obviously, he sort of got friendly with Ken Cooper and Ken Cooper, Blast from the Past,
Right,
Flathead
yes,
racer,
yes.
yeah, and also Harold Bull.
Yes.
Those two guys are still with us now.
Yeah.
So I think Harold's 98 now
Good
and
grief.
still rocking. And of course, you want to go faster, don't you? You want to try and beat these guys. So supercharging came on board. And
Yeah.
he started playing around, and it became troubleshooter.
Right.
And that ran for 3 or 4 years. Then we had a nasty accident in the staging lanes at Santa Pod when the push bar broke
Oh,
because you didn't have self starters in those days.
no. Push them
You-
with the tow car.
That was it, and it was a HB Viva, and Mum was driving at the time, and she never drove again after that day.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it really got to her. So, and the push bar broke, and it just sent him into the fence, wiped the front out.
Oh.
But it's just one of those things, freak
Yeah.
accident, So we had troubleshooter, and then he built another car called the Joker.
Which is still around?
It is still around. It is down in Southampton. One of Roy Wilding's crew has got it,
Right.
and he keeps saying to me, "I'm gonna put it back together. I'm gonna put it back together." It hasn't happened yet, but Tony Brace, that's the guy.
Right. Okay.
That's the guy that's got it. We'd love to see it back out there again.
Of course. Yeah.
Because it went through several other owners. Steve Young had it for a short period as Autocat,
Right.
and Martin Jones, Money for Nothing,
Yes.
because
Yes.
they were all down in Southampton in that neck of the woods. He had it, and also Ray Feltel had it as Penetration. He was an ex drag biker.
Right.
Decided
Okay.
to have a dabble at the car side of it.
Right.
Yeah, so Ray had it as well. So it's been through quite a few different owners, but there's times when Dad wishes he could have had it back again,
Yeah.
so he could have had one final fling with it, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then after a few years, he got hold of this 1958 Barclay.
Which he still has.
Still has,
Yes.
yeah, still has today.
And I mean, Berkeley's a peculiar little. Was it a kit car or was it a sort of?
No, it was a type of a fiberglass sports car.
Yeah. I mean,
With
was it
motorcycle.
based on something?
I don't think it was. It was built by Laurie Bond,
Oh right.
a
Yeah.
name that had built other various
Yeah.
sort of kit car
Yeah.
in the late 50s. This one is like 1958,
Yeah.
and it was a four-wheeler with an Excelsior twin motor in it,
Right.
which we still have.
Yeah.
It's in the back of the garage, along with numerous other body panels. He started playing about with that, ripped all the guts out of it, built his own chassis for it, put the body on top of it,
Right.
and then went drag racing. Put a stuffed a Lotus twin cam engine in it
Good grief.
with a blower on top of it, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. And I should imagine fairly rapid.
It
for
was
a car that weighs Ned.
yeah, it did 11 seconds, low 11s, I think it was.
Did you no mean feet really?
No,
for a
it's
little 4-putt.
yeah. I mean, he had 1069, I think it was, out of the dragster, and that was at
Right.
Snetterton,
Yeah.
going uphill on rock hard tyres.
Yeah.
So I think that's about quick as he's been with the dragster. But yeah, 11 seconds out of that little Barclay,
Wow.
and then he put the helm and int motor in it to economise a little bit.
Right.
But the cylinder heads, you know what they're like.
Yeah,
They go
yeah.
banana shaped, don't they? So and then we acquired that MG Midget,
Yes.
which was another derivative of Super Joker, which he still has the bits for that as well in the back of the garage.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, nobody ever throws anything away.
No,
Nor should they.
no. So, but yeah, that's how he got me involved in it.
So, how many years was this spread over all this sort of career?
Well, I think when I first saw my first drag race through my child eyes was 65.
Yeah.
So I am now, well, we're in 2022. I'm now 62, 63 next month.
Oh, happy birthday.
So, that's got to be 50 years,
Yeah,
something like that.
more than that.
I've never really thought about it in that way, so I can't give you an exact number. But
So, I mean, when you were a lad, you went with the old man to all these
oh
races, and
yeah, it was a family thing.
yeah,
We were always there. I used to help with the dragster, obviously.
yeah.
Putting the bleach down when we had bleach to
And it
burn
was
out.
bleach,
It
wasn't it?
was proper
Sodium hydroxide.
bog bleach. Because if you get it on your stripy trousers, you can't get it off again.
So you were blonde for a few years.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
So I've seen quite a bit. I've
And
seen quite a few people as well,
well, I
over
should
the
imagine
years,
so over the
and so
50
and
years.
yeah, and some world record times, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you must have seen British drag racing evolve from practically nothing.
Well, yeah, really, yeah, because I've said most of the events at Long Marston I attended.
Yeah,
Obviously, I was there for the first one in '73, September the 9th, where I had my little box of models on display,
yeah.
courtesy of the MDRA.
Wow.
And so I was there for the last one, sadly.
Yeah. Which was 2017. Yeah,
2017,
the
the
Halloween
fireworks
meet.
meet, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's you must have seen, like I say, you saw it evolve from practically nothing and
Yes,
become,
yes.
well, the hub of the European scene, certainly.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw Avon Park being built
Yeah.
at the time, and I showed you some plans earlier of what the facility was going to be like.
Yes, sort of
Even though
89, 90 sort of time.
we got a pucker American designed drag strip,
Yeah,
which was set to all the NHRA specifications and everything, and everybody then thought we'd arrived.
yeah,
But certain things happened. Blacktop went bust midway through the year. The BDRA and the NDRA tried to keep it going, which they did,
yeah.
fortunately. And then the BDRA merged with the NDRA to form the BNDRA. And they had this because there were certain events that didn't happen,
Yeah.
and it was there was some T-shirts going around, and it was BNDRA, bollocks, no drag racing again.
I bet you haven't got one of them in your collection.
I haven't.
Oh,
No.
So if there is one out there,
Yeah,
you can
I'm sure
donate it
there
to the
is.
cause.
I'm sure there is. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was 94, 94. I was there on a rainy day when they were putting the wall up.
94 was that long ago?
End of 1994 was when the Great Wall of Shakey went up.
Good grief! I
I
don't
was,
think it was that long ago.
yeah, I was still editing Fire Up magazine at the time.
Well, I was going to say that
Yeah,
we're going
and
to get onto
European,
that
yeah,
because
and European dragster.
you've had your hand in a lot of the publications for the
Yeah,
scene.
Custom Car.
Yeah,
I wrote various bits for. Street Machine, the
yeah,
original first incarnation of
yeah,
Street
yeah.
Machine. I wrote some bits in there as well. So that's hence why I know Mike Collins.
Yes, yeah,
Motoring News, when it was called that before Motorsport News.
yeah.
I used to be the regular drag racing correspondent, along with my mate Dick Parnham. He used to shoot all the pictures.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so. And then I edited the very original Fire Up, which was a little A5 publication
yeah.
for the local club before John Wright and myself decided we were going to go bigger and get the Sports Independent magazine going.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was 89,
Oh, right.
1989.
So yeah, so there were big wheels in motion at that time, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, because we could, because John was, he was racing manager at Long Marston,
Yeah.
stroke Avon Park. He was working with Anthony and dear old Mark Rumbold, who's no longer with us. And he could see that there was a niche in the market for an independent publication.
Yeah.
As Drag Racing News was still out, and Roger Gorringe was still editing that
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time, before Mary Ancliffe took it over for
Right.
several issues with Tony Hawk of the
Right.
BNDRA. And we ran that for 26, 27 issues, something like that.
Right. Okay.
And that was over a 3-year period.
Right.
And that was all self-financed,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so... and I wish it was still about, you know,
Yeah.
because the
Well,
sport needs something like that. I know we've all got the internet, but there's no substitute, as you well know, for a bit of paper
well,
in your
as
hand.
it turns out, yes.
You know,
And wow. Because yeah, I mean that was kind of the golden days for magazines,
yeah,
sort
it
of like
was, yeah, at
late
that
80s
time,
into the
yeah,
90s.
yeah.
Crikey.
So
And yeah, you were kind of the main man at Shakey for many years.
12 years.
So I thought it was longer.
No,
Okay.
it was what year was it? What year was it? 12 years. 2006.
Yeah.
That was when Lee Child was running the meets
Right. Yeah.
after
Yeah.
Terry Gibbs with
Yeah.
Super Series. Lee Child did a few events with the LA Racing, LA
Yes. Yeah.
Performance,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
And I took over from when Lee went. I
Right.
spoke to Anthony after the, I think it was the American Car Weekend or Rotor Stock. I think it was Rotor Stock Weekend, yeah. And I said, well, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know. Well,
Oh.
I'm
All right.
prepared to, jack my job in and I'll work full time.
Wow. And was this sort of like a dream gig, or
Well,
was it
pretty
more for
much
the
so,
benefit
yeah.
of?
I knew I'd bitten off more than I could chew, but with the small team and dedicated team that I had around me,
Yeah.
i.e., the people that was running Apera at the time,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
we had some good times. There were some lows, some real big lows,
Yeah.
but no, I enjoyed it, and it's a shame that it had to come to an end.
Well. Yeah.
Because if it was, I'd still be doing it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd still be running that track now.
So you say there's been highs and lows over the. I mean, it wasn't like you just appeared in 2006.
Oh no,
You were
no,
there.
no! I
You were
was,
there
yeah,
years prior to
yeah,
that.
because I was a commentator there
Yeah.
from one of the early hot rod drags in the 90s.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was nobody there to do the commentating. Now I used to stand up in the old race control
Yeah.
and hear Mike Matthews, who was the commentator at the time. Who Mike obviously did all the custom car shows as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, I can't pick up a microphone and speak. I can't do this. And then Bruno,
Yeah.
God bless him, yeah, Bruno says, come with me. And the next thing I know, I'm in that side of race control, microphone.
Oh, you were shanghaied into it.
Oh,
Then.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I sort of thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
And then
Yeah.
I just got into it then.
Yeah. Because I mean, you did that for years and years.
Yeah. Well, from that early 90s.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of some video work as well. I did some stuff with West Yorkshire Television
Right.
when they were down there filming the events, because I was doing stuff for them for Hennisford Raceway at the
Right.
time for the stock cars.
I was gonna say you've also
Yeah,
been quite involved with the
Birmingham Wheels.
because you're
So
from that part of the world anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Birmingham Wheels Park is that still going?
No, it's
That's
closed.
just
That closed.
Yeah.
Thanks to
And
the Birmingham City Council.
oh, bless him.
Yeah.
And Hensford, which is
That's still going.
Cannock neck of the woods, which
Yeah,
is
that's
still going.
Yeah.
That's my part of the world.
Yeah.
So
So that's how I got involved really. And I'd never looked back. And another guy that I've only sort of linked up with now on Facebook, Martin Bennett. We used to do a double act, and
yes.
we were the Ravon Park twins for a long time when we did various events together. And we did the Night of Fires, or the original Night of Fire.
Yeah.
I did that with Steve Young. He was up in race control in the warm. I was downstairs acting the Pratt in the cold with a
a
radio
remote
mic.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, he seems to have got the better end of that deal.
yeah, I did, didn't I? So yeah, there's just some real good events. So I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Definitely. And I mean, so many people think of Shakey still as, a spiritual centre, if you like.
Mm.
So, yeah, you must have done a damn good job because everybody remembers the Atmos at Shakey.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was doing the commentating, I was sort of there was Alan Wigmore,
Yeah.
British Drag Racing Hall of Fame member Alan Wigmore, who was the family was great friends with Alan,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was a shame that he went when he did. And I was considered as the voice of Shakey at that time.
Yeah.
Like John Price was Santa Pod.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
the voice piece of Shakey, but
Wow.
I hate the sound of my voice. When I watch old videos, like first image videos that appear on YouTube now and again,
Yeah.
I can hear myself. I think I have to turn the sound down. I just cannot abide it, to be honest with you. But others, some days in the commentating side of it, you have good events, and then others you don't. Like Run What You Brungs, I hated because you'd never get the information.
That, and half the time, it's not exactly a grandstand filler, is it?
No,
Your brother.
no.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, so the latter part, that's why Sean ended up with the Sean Wilson ended up with
Yes. I
with the
remember
job.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's all good time.
Yeah. So, from like the Long Marston days,
Mm.
how many years were you actually sort of involved with the logistics running
Well, it was getting on for 12 years,
right?
from
Okay.
2006 to 2017.
Right.
So that's got to be 12, 13 years. I was there still in 2018 before the
Right.
final nail was put in the
Oh,
coffin,
right.
and I
Yeah.
sent the press release to you, and you put it in Street Machine. So
Yes, I remember.
yeah.
Oh, dear, grim.
But yeah, there's some good times. We had some real good times there, and I'd seen that place turn around all the time. And I'd be out there with my broom, the
Yeah.
trusty Raceway broom, the only one we got, and I'd be sweeping the roads.
One broom.
Yeah, and people didn't believe me until I turned up on a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. I'd be there with this broom, the entrance road.
Really?
The road into the pit road, into the actual pits itself.
Must
I'd
put some
sweep
miles
that.
on that
Oh
brush.
yeah, yeah. It was a proper Triggers broom. That was really was. And I did all that. I did virtually everything on that raceway,
Yeah.
other than the toilets. I
Right.
drew a line at that. I did security one year for the hot rod drags,
Wow.
and I was up till 4 o'clock waiting for him to kick out of Kenny's. And I'd have a couple of hours sleep, and then I was commentating next.
Good God, that must have been hard work.
It was, yeah,
Well, apart from the steering drunks back to the tent.
yeah,
That's,
but yeah,
yeah. Because
so
we all have some good nights.
yeah,
Kenny's, I
so
think.
yeah, so I drove some really weird vehicles.
Yeah.
With an old JCB, so I nearly rolled off the bank.
Boy. Oh, right.
Yeah, so there's other vehicles, interesting old fire engines I used to drive around in.
Yeah.
Me and Bruno, during a meeting, we built the original clubhouse.
Really?
Yeah,
What, the one on the
it was
not Kenny's, the other side of
the other side. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we were building
It's
it.
probably still there, isn't it? The shell of that.
No, it went ages ago.
Oh, right.
But it was like a prefab.
Yeah.
And it was. Remember the forklifts that had the side come out,
Yeah.
not the one at the front, the side one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rattling around in that, Bruno hanging onto the forks. And oh,
So
dear.
you really were running the show then?
Well, yeah, that was before I was actually full-time employed.
Right. I mean, that's what I kind of mean.
This was in the mid-90s. This was.
Wow. So this was voluntary?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't working at the time, so
right, that's all right then.
So we, come to an arrangement, as you do. So yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, you must have been there for some of the best meetings they had there. I mean, because you did as well a lot of the meetings that weren't strictly drag racing meetings, because they had music festivals on that side. There was the
Yeah, yeah,
Bulldog Bash as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I did work with the guys at Global Gathering.
Yeah,
That was interesting. You know, we had to because we had an event before the week before the Global Gathering,
right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I sort of had to barter with the site manager to say, well, you know, if you want that, can I do this?
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah,
so of course they'd
because
already started setting up
they were putting all
ages before, wouldn't they?
2 weeks before.
Ah,
You
right.
know,
Okay.
it only takes them a week to get down, but 2 weeks before building it.
Right. And in the middle
So
of that, you had to stage an event.
running an event, yeah.
Was it? At one of them, 'cause suddenly you get in there and there's all that bloody crowd fencing everywhere.
Oh, the Steel Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have some jokes for those guys. Yeah, yeah. That's so. I did quite a few of the global gatherings,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
did get to see a few of the acts. How
Right.
they get paid money, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. And go in some of the tents. You walk in, but you float out.
Ah, right. Understood.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Bulldog Bash. It wasn't really my cup of tea, that one.
Right.
You know, because I enjoyed it, but it was sort of I got a little bit intimidated.
Right. Okay.
You know, but yeah, I did all the stunt show stuff,
Yeah.
um, the vertical tricks, and guy called Carmichael. Can't remember the guy's name now, but they had all sorts of different weird um, uh, stunt people come along.
Yeah.
Terry Grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I
Yeah.
did some work with Terry, and he used to stand me in the middle, and he'd pirouette round in his little
Oh,
legend,
yes, the legend,
and
which
he
is.
went over my boot once.
Ooh. Well, so I hope you're onto one of
Yeah,
them
yeah,
lawyers.
yeah. So that was good working with Terry,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
used to commentate with on Terry when he was a national hot rod racer.
Get out.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was a hot rod
yeah,
racer.
he was. Yeah, short circuit oval racer at the time,
Well, there you go.
and then he branched out into the world of stunt driving.
And yeah, still regularly appears
Yes, he does.
during
Yeah,
downtime at Santa
yeah,
Pod.
yeah. So I worked with him on certain events. There was one year where there's Simon and myself, and we were trying to fill in between something that an act that didn't appear,
Right.
and I decided, like the idiot I am, decided to take the radio mic into the grandstands,
Yes.
and I'd go and stick the microphone in some Hell's Angel's face, like,
Yeah.
what do you think of it so far, and you know, all this stuff. Anyway, there was one time I was up right high up on the top of the grandstands. I want to propose marriage to my girlfriend. It just happened there and then.
Yeah.
You know, that was just something I'd never think you'd do. And somebody proposed marriage in this
On your
downtime.
mic.
Yeah, yeah.
What'd she say?
She said, "Yeah,
That was just as well.
yeah." You know, it's just, but it. And I've really got the crowd going on the old Mexican wave business
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And we'd have these stunt riders, and me and Simon would stand underneath the ramps, and we'd be
Yeah.
commentating while the bikes were going
Oh
overhead.
bloody hell!
Yeah, some amazing stuff. Like I say, one of these days I will write a book.
I think you need to. Yeah,
There is,
definitely.
well, you didn't see them, but there's two big plastic boxes full of stuff to do with Long Marston,
Right.
dating back to the 60s and
Oh,
late 50s with the sprints they used to run there.
because I mean, it's not just been a drag strip. There has been plenty of other motorsport.
Yes,
There over the years.
Rallycross.
Yeah, yeah,
Rallycross ran from 71 to 83.
yeah, yeah.
Auto tests they did. They did several air displays there,
Right. Okay.
which I've got posters for. There was an Invader American Air Force prop plane that had to make an emergency landing because
Right.
he'd lost his front wheel.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, the undercarriage had collapsed,
Yeah.
and it was
Oh,
based there
happens
for
to the best
about
of us.
it was based there for about 2 weeks. I've got
Wow.
photographs of that, but it
When was that?
made the news,
Yeah, yeah.
made Midlands Today. So
'Cause, I mean, it always was a live airfield, but only
oh
for
yeah,
light craft.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It was
not
it was classed as an emergency airfield, for, I
Right.
believe, Birmingham Airport
That figures.
because
Okay.
of the length of the runway. Don't ask me
Right.
what it was because I don't know. I can't
But
remember.
this wasn't the one with the strip on. This was
No, this
the.
was the one with the strip on.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that is the longer of the two.
Right. Because I'd have thought with Armco either side, that wouldn't have been.
Well, now in back when it was designated as a emergency site,
Right. Okay.
one section, always the right hand side, had to be taken down.
Right. Understood.
Yeah, had to be taken down. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. There you go. I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
interesting
yeah.
nugget.
So every time the marshals would put it up the night before, take
Yeah.
it down on after the meeting had finished.
Wow.
But it was only there was never anything there. Nothing had happened, but the farmer used to graze his local sheep on there, and you
Right.
can imagine what that was like.
Ah. Yes. Okay.
Then you got like
With you and your brush.
yeah, you got full blown meeting, and you got like sheep crap all over the place. But there you go, all good fun.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Yeah, I remember that actually. The sheep were sort of running wild around.
Yes, they were. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if a few got out now and again. But,
Dodge the sheep. That would
yeah,
have been. That's a new one for the Book of Excuses, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a rallycross. There was air displays.
Yeah.
Tour of Britain ran there a couple of years. Did
Yes.
stages
Yes.
in the 70s. There was bus shows, traction engine rallies.
Right.
I've got a program for a traction engine rally, and obviously the sprints in the 50s with George Brown. Even Sydney Allard ran the Allard there
Right.
in the early 60s.
Wow. What
Hence, hence why I was keen to get the Allard back
yes.
in the anniversary year, and that's why it turned up at the
Ah,
Nostalgia
right. Right.
Nationals.
With you.
Yeah,
Understood.
yeah.
Oh, happy days.
So
Yes, it was a buzzing place. And those plans you showed me, because you said the NHRA got involved,
yes,
or
or
with,
we're tentatively getting involved.
right, okay. And
Yeah,
this was back in
this was it
89?
was all being talked about 88, 89.
Yeah,
As you saw, those plans were dated 89,
yes.
and it was going to be a mega facility. You're probably looking at something like Silverstone, Brands Hatch, because they
Right.
got museum plans. There was even going to be a hotel on the site.
Yeah,
There was going to be a lake. Well, there is a lake still on
yeah,
there, but there was going to be a proper man-made lake, proper
yeah.
motorsports facility. There was other projects that was going to go on there, but dear old Stratford Council, I think, had
Huh.
had something to do with that.
Ah, right,
But
okay.
anyway,
Didn't want oily Herberts ruining
well,
their countrysides, I think.
it's just at the time, I think the drag racing was a bit of a nuisance.
Well, was Stratford Council ever particularly fond of the drag races?
They weren't really.
No.
They'd rather it wasn't there,
Yeah.
basically. And this is why we got this curfew business.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously, sometimes I let it go a little bit, but the curfew did come into play after the 90s
Yeah.
because we were having back-to-back meetings.
Oh, right. And then, because I remember they only let you run one meeting every X
That's
number
it.
of
Yeah, that's it.
weekends
Yeah, yeah,
after that. And
yeah,
didn't they give you hoops to jump through every
yeah.
year?
Oh, yeah. That's why we had to put turning in line. There was
Yeah.
one year, I think it was 2004 or something like that. No, not 2004. What am I talking about? In the 90s. They had to put that turning in line, and then we could not open the facility until that turning in line was put in place.
Oh, right.
And this was to facilitate ourselves as well as the Sunday market.
Sunday market, of course. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of
And
that.
that Sunday market used to be the one in the area
Yeah.
before Wellesbourne came
Right.
on the scene. And that runway, which was the original strip in 73, it was end to end of stalls. It would take you a
Right.
day to get around it. It was
Wow.
one of the best ones in the area.
Crikey. Do you know what? All the meetings I've been to at Shakey
Never been round the market.
when the market was open, and
Yeah.
I was always no, screw that. I'm going. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never actually been on there.
Yeah. So
Blimey, Riley.
some good
But
things.
you always managed to actually jump through these hoops then.
Well, yeah, it's a case of having to really. It's we wanted it to continue, obviously,
Yeah.
as much as we could, and we just had to toe the line
Yeah.
until that day happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you and I were at that. Yeah. Fireworks meet on October 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sad day. And people still talk so fondly about the place.
Oh, I know they do. I know they do. The only thing that rattles me occasionally is when people get in on site
Oh yes,
and take videos and things like that, and you see it in the state that it's in.
And you think, yeah,
I
could have
mean,
had a few more years out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be touched for another 4 years, the way I understand it. But it'll never come back.
No.
You've got to remember it as it was.
Yeah.
I know people, would like to see it back, but it's never going to come back. There's been too much damage done to it. I mean, there's now a tree growing out of the bit where the Christmas tree used to be.
Oh, an actual tree.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That's found its way out.
There's something poetic about that, I think.
There is, yeah. So,
nature has reclaimed
but
it.
yeah, but people got in there, smashed up race control, and various things disappeared. And I think I and a lot of other people put a lot of their own personal time into that place.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of those people don't want to see it.
Yes.
See those pictures or those videos.
Yeah. We had plenty of good years to remember.
Absolutely. That's why, we continue to run the Memories of a Warwickshire Drag Strip page.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that a lot of people contributing to that page.
Yes.
With photographs. And there's a few on there that's like, crikey, scratch me out. I don't remember that.
Right.
So I'm learning new stuff all the time.
So just in case anybody didn't get that, the Facebook page is called
Memories of a Warwickshire Drag Strip.
There you go.
Myself and David Bramley, who he's the one that originally set the page up for when we were active, and then I sort of took it on, and we both manage it together.
Right.
And that page, well, it's better than a website, really.
It's certainly not easy access for anybody who wants to contribute images and stuff that they
Oh,
find.
absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I run the other page, UK drag and sprint strips that time forgot.
Yes.
And there's a lot of material that keeps popping up on there as well.
Well, your little collection of memorabilia there. There's places there that I've never heard of. I didn't know there ran stuff there.
Yeah.
It's quite fascinating.
So if you get 5 minutes and you get bored over this winter, look at those pages.
Absolutely. And in terms of nostalgia, you've been involved with the... Well, actually, are you not a member of the Hall of Fame?
I'm
British Drag Racing Hall of Fame.
The family is inducted into the
Cookson
Hall
family.
of Fame. I'm also a director of the British Drag Racing Hall of Fame as well.
And you've been working on their
Hoff Talk.
Yes.
Their online newsletter, As and When.
Yes.
Which is, so I've got another one coming out soon.
Right.
Where I've got a feature in there. It'll run over 2 parts of the Dos Palmas dragster.
Yeah.
That has been bought by a consortium of British people.
Ooh.
Jeff Stilwell, Nick Davis, and Tony Thacker.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, ex-custom car man.
Yeah. Expat now.
Yeah.
Well, has been for years.
Yeah. They've acquired it now and they're restoring it.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I remember seeing that in '65 when it was the
first time
the drag racing partnership.
Wow. Blimey, right.
And then Bill Whitechout had it and called it Asmodeus.
Asmodeus?
Yeah, in '71.
Right.
and then
Okay.
took it back to the States with him because he was a serviceman.
Ah, right. Understand.
Yeah,
Understand.
yeah.
Okay. So
So
where was it found then, or was it
it was, if you remember, I don't, you don't watch much television, do you?
not so much?
There was a program called Americana.
Right.
It was on Discovery, and Ray Everham was a NASCAR crew chief and TV pundit.
Yes.
He got hold of it and contacted the original owner, Bob Keith,
Yeah.
and they started restoring it.
Fantastic.
Sadly, Bob passed away, and he didn't actually see the finished article because he would
Right.
love to have raced or cackled it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it went through a couple of ownership and went to Meckham's, the auctioneers
Yeah. Yeah.
over there, and these guys got hold of it.
Brilliant. And it's
So
coming back here.
I think they would like to bring it back, but I think it's, there's money involved.
Yeah. Well.
It would be nice. I'd
Yeah.
love to see
Definitely.
it back over here again.
Because I mean, you said yourself that you had the NSRA hot rod drags and
Yes.
nostalgia nationals
Yes.
and whatever hosted
Yeah.
at Shakey and then later at Sans Pod.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's Dragstalgia. It seems to be quite a major force now, the whole nostalgia scene.
I love the nostalgia scene. I don't really get a kick out of the modern stuff anymore, but I love the nostalgia scene. I love seeing all these old race cars coming back to life again, or
And they are
recreations.
And they are coming out the woodwork
Yeah,
still occasionally.
yeah,
I was not a couple of weeks ago up at York, Melbourne, and Tudor Rose.
yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
the guy just tells you the
Yeah,
story
Mick White.
behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, bloody hell.
Yeah, I've got to get up to Melbourne next year, so hopefully it'll be up there or down at Dragstalgia. But yeah, these are old race cars. Love it, absolutely love it. And this is one of the reasons why I got involved with the NSA,
Yeah.
which is the National Sprint Association, because it's for modern, classics, and vintage.
Right.
And of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
we get a lot of nostalgia drag bikes turn up,
Yeah.
and it's great. I love it. I love commentating on it.
Ah,
That's how I've got to know John Hobbs quite well now.
yeah. Yeah.
With
As in
Hobbit
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Olympus, which is now they've found new homes at the National Motorcycle Museum.
Just down the road here.
Yeah,
Just down the road from where I live.
yeah,
Not from here.
Solihull, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're on display there, along with Super
Fantastic.
Nero, Pegasus,
Bloody
and a
hell.
few other drag bikes in between.
Oh, that's amazing work. Excellent.
But yeah,
And yeah,
the
more still. And nostalgia classes.
yes,
Outlaw Anglia, Gasser Circus.
yes,
Outlaw Anglia is not really a nostalgia class, but
the performance is just unbelievable.
isn't it just? I mean, 6 second.
Who'd have thought that? I'd love to have seen a 6 second pass at Shakey.
Yeah.
But, they were always on the envelope. They were always ready to tip over or do something, and we've seen one or two end up in the field. And obviously, I think Jed Guy was the last one that struck the arm COVID in that class in 2014. But no,
keep it that way.
It's great that class is really evolving and the performances. And if they can get that Aussie over,
oh, that will be something worth seeing.
And I think there are plans somewhere that it's going to happen.
Well, they had a GoFundMe thing going.
Yeah, that's it.
There's thousands of pounds.
Yeah,
people want that guy to come over and
nostalgia Superstock.
Yes.
If we get 64 cars next year, and again, it's nice seeing the period.
Yes.
Paint jobs on these cars.
Oh yeah, they've really put some effort in, and
I mean,
like
the Watts Rod Shop. Yes. I know it should be the Rod Shop.
Yeah.
Because they ran pro stock in the 70s on the NHRA, but what Duncan Watts does there is just incredible.
Oh yeah.
And there's got his daughter racing as well, and there's a whole group of them.
And the Williams brothers and all this. There's some real motivation behind these nostalgia classes.
And the Sling, Gasser Circus,
Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
I mean,
I used to be involved with the Wild Bunch.
Yeah.
When we had the Dongarlet Spirited Drag Racing Award.
Yes.
So but yeah, the nostalgia scene is really, really good.
Yeah, it's very strong.
It would be nice if Trevor at Melbourne can
Yeah.
establish a nostalgia event up there.
Well, yeah, I don't see why not.
You know, I know it's only 8th Mile. I know the NSRA are involved because they had the swap meet,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
you went to in
yeah.
those horrendous conditions.
Yeah, that was grim.
Yeah, but yeah, if getting a nostalgia event up there, you know, it'd be great.
Absolutely, because I mean, things like the super stock
Yeah,
class, I think that kind of evolved out of American super
yeah,
stock,
yeah,
and yeah, that was another meet where suddenly all these cars were coming out the woodwork,
absolutely,
looking
yeah,
period
yeah,
correct, and yeah, it was
absolutely.
wonderful.
No, it's great. The nostalgia scene has really started to take off.
Yes,
You know, I know we ran the Hot Rod Drags and Nostalgia Nationals with the guys for a long time, but it still took some time to evolve
yeah,
because I think the very first one was combined with another meeting.
right.
As far as I can make out from the programs that I've got and the photographs I've got, it ran with a national event by the looks of it, but
Oh,
I
right, okay.
could be wrong, might be wrong. But then it had its own following.
Yes, I mean that was the Hot Rod Drags is still a major event on the calendar
Oh
for so
yeah,
many
no,
people.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
yeah, it'll evermore shall be so. Hopefully,
But I can't. But I went to Dragstalgia last year. I didn't see any racing.
too busy wandering around yapping.
No, I was doing that, and I was in the obviously the Hall of Fame tent
Oh, of course,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
auction
yeah.
and everything,
Bloody hell,
which we're going to do again next year.
excellent.
You know, because every year we seem to top the figures. You know, so it's encouraging that people even want to buy nostalgia items. You know,
That is good though. Yeah, and like you say, your archive presumably it's and anything you get that's duplicated can.
well, yes, it does happen. You know, we do get various things that other people have got, but you know, it's I have a fun time with that archive.
Oh, and just in case for your archive, is there anything that you're desperately seeking?
Everything, particularly like Santa Pod programs from the '60s. I haven't got many of those in the
Right.
collection. My Santa Pod ones start really from '72
Ah, right.
into
Okay.
'73. I know we had them, and Dad had them, but where they ended up, I don't know.
Understood.
I don't know. But there's always something.
Yeah.
People are always finding things, and you know, and I think, yeah, I'd like to get that. Or I go on eBay and you find stuff on there, and sometimes I get outbid, you know, but
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, I do
Well,
come
that
up
means somebody's
trumps.
out there looking to buy this stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. You know, I bet if I put a refurbished Klondike tree that I have
yeah. Yeah.
on eBay, somebody somebody would buy it.
Oh, definitely.
Even those Santa Pod posters
Yeah.
that I showed you, and I know the person who would buy those.
Oh, right.
Yeah, for a proposed museum.
Aha.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah. Of course. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
But
Well, so you said now that you've well, you've not really been letting yourself lie fallow for the since Shakey shut. You've still
no,
been involved with stuff.
no, I'm still, like I said, I still do commentating for the NSA.
Yeah.
So you always find me down at Western Zoyland or
Western Zone, which is another dredge from here. Yeah. Somerset.
Somerset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been going down there since 2014.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 2014. When Clive invited me down there, and I was running this makeshift Christmas tree light
Right.
with a little mouse that was triggered with a little foot control, and
Right.
he was chasing this mouse around on the floor, you know, because it slip out off your foot, slip off it, you know. So yeah, been doing that, and just recently, this last year and the year before, Smeathar,
Smeathar, which is
that's Devon
yes. Yeah. What's it
with
called?
Dakota,
Dakota. That's because
yeah,
it's
with
Dakota and Spitfire down
Trevor
there. Yeah.
and Lee Child.
Yeah.
So yeah, still been involved in that as well.
Brilliant.
So you know,
And now you're not a million miles away from Skegness Short Oval,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
East Kirkby, and
yeah.
in fact there's quite a few
There is this.
motorsport venues
Yeah,
around here.
there's Cadwell.
Yeah, Blighton, of course.
Yeah, Blighton for the Rallycross. Woodthorpe for the karting, just up the road.
So you've not come here for a quiet life then?
No, not really. But no, I try and get round as many things as possible, you know. But you have to do other things as the family to consider as well. You
Yeah.
know, we've got little granddaughter
Right.
Ella,
Yeah.
who's you know really a little cutie at the end of the day. So yeah, so it's all family life as well. So got to get this place into order,
Yeah.
which we're slowly doing. You know, so
Like I say, having moved house a few times, I'd say you've waved a magic wand over this place.
yeah, I should probably end up back at Aldi at some stage, doing what I did there. So, but yeah,
Happy days.
all good fun. There's always something to do.
Oh yes, yes.
Always.
Like I say,
You know.
it's when you've got nothing to do that's when you seize up.
Yeah, yeah. Alice just said painting. I've got painting to do next for the kitchen. Now the paint's sitting in the kitchen, ready to be slapped onto the wall.
I say yes, decorating.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah. So there's always something to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So and are you planning on? You said you might go up to Melbourne. Are you planning on coming back
Yes.
to Santa Pod and any other events?
I think the only ones that I do at Santa Pod is Dragstalgia, obviously through the Hall of Fame.
Of course.
Melbourne from here, I believe, is about an hour away.
Right.
Which is fine. It's
Yeah.
no more than what we were doing when we were down south to Santa Pod.
Yeah.
It was about an hour. So I will venture over there. There might be a bit of a scrap up in race control with me and Paul over the microphone at some stage. But yeah, I'm planning to do a couple of events up there.
Brilliant.
I know Al. You know Al Perkins.
Yeah.
I spoke to him at the Hall of Fame, and he says, "There's always a job up there for you." So yes, might do start line with Des or do something at
That'd
least.
be cool. Don't you dare, Cat.
Cat, come on, don't knock my camera off.
Oh, no, she's all
No,
right.
he's all right.
No, honestly.
Oh dear. So yeah, I'll get up to Melbourne.
Fantastic. Yeah,
And a
I've made
few
it up
places
2 times this year.
in between.
Excellent stuff.
You know, because I've heard so many good things. I have to say, what those guys have done up there at that facility is second to none.
Oh, they've made a right silk purse out of that place.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And one of the things I hear most often from people who go up there, saying it's starting to get the atmos that we had at Shakey.
Yes, yeah,
And
I've seen that in various
you
reports.
can't build that.
No.
So you can't buy that at Wicks.
No, exactly. So that's good, you know.
Yeah, fantastic.
So looking forward to that. So I'm hoping to get up to the open day now. The date's been released, the end of February.
Ah, yeah,
it's 25th, 26th, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, so I hope to have a play up there and see what we can do.
Brilliant.
Hopefully the weather will be a bit more than it was this year.
Yeah, crikey, Riley.
So,
but yeah, it'd be really, really good to see you.
And obviously with you and the Hot Rod Gazette.
Yes.
Yeah, well done on that first issue. I still haven't read it yet.
And and hopefully you'll be contributing more archive dives from that.
Oh, absolutely. There is a box full of discs that people have given me. The photographers we've had at Shakey. And obviously we ran the Hot Rod Gazette, the National Streetcar Challenge, or when it was called the Northern Streetcar Challenge.
Well, it went national.
That's it,
came down to Shakey,
so there's loads of pictures
that
I'm digging out for you, and hopefully you'll find some space.
Oh, I do.
If not on the online or the the newsletter or in the magazine. So
that'd be fantastic.
I shall enjoy doing that.
Sent me some that I've got stashed away.
But see, you have the advantage of me because I gave you there's one missing because I found it. Hot Rod Gazette magazines. When Gasket was doing it.
That's it. And I combined them with my own collection. And any duplicates I found, I threw away the most ragged and mousy.
Yeah.
So I've now got a fairly decent.
So you have the advantage over me as to who they were because I can't remember.
God.
Some names still figure in the brain box, but there's a lot that don't. But If I say HRG on the side of the car, then it's one of you guys.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah,
of
and I
course,
was
that's still running up at
yeah,
Melbourne still,
yeah,
and a lot of the same faces from back
yeah,
then.
absolutely, yeah. But I was happy to host you guys,
Fantastic.
you know,
And
because
yeah, we love being there.
yeah, no, absolutely, because at the time you'd only got York as it was
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then. So it was nice just to get a little on tour meet
Exactly.
around.
Yeah.
So yeah, superb, lovely stuff.
Right. So yes, with any luck, we'll see you out and about next season,
You
and
will do, yeah,
I'm sure you'll find plenty of places where the kettle's on.
yeah, yeah. As long as the old ticker's still going, which
Well,
it is, you know.
keep your steps up by wandering around.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's plenty of exercise to do around here.
Oh yes, yes. Paint on,
Yeah,
paint off.
yeah. So
And yeah, I'll say thank you ever so much. And
no
yeah, I
problem
think
at
we
all.
better pack this up before my battery goes flat. So
Okay.
thank you very, very much, Jerry Cookson.